Female Athletes Rankings of Coaching Behavior, a longitudinal report. Women's communication styles based more importance on seeking feelings more than trying to find solutions. Females were more relational and personal in their communication. They put more emphasis on having their coaches have empathy for them, and then also validating their feelings was really important too. Stewart also reported and indicated that preferred coaching characteristics, there was a list from 1 to 10. The first one is being able to teach was the most important. The second one was being fair and honest, and then the last one was development of sportsmanship with the players. Coaches need competence in physiological, psychological, tactile, and organizational skills. And that was from Christensen, Thompson, Hansett, and Roberts, 2012 Coaching Communication Issues with Elite Female Athletes, and that was a Norwegian case studies. Honest communication between coach and athlete is likely to develop a really strong, trustworthy connection between the two. And that was Sergio and Durup, 2011, Athletes' Perception and Preferences of Coach Behavior, a qualitative study of female soccer players. Women express themselves less strongly and with more uncertainty also while discussing communication. I've now kind of demonstrated some of the characteristics, and now I'm going to get into a case study that I looked at. There was a case study that was done in Norway. It was between two female athletes, and they were joining an elite athletic program. The first person's name was April. She was 16 years old when she entered the elite athletic program, and she ended up developing mono during one of her major competitions. She didn't find out until 2 months later that she had mono. Her coach finally communicated that to her later on, so that was a big lapse in communication for her, and it really ended up, she suffered in the end with her competitions, so because of that. And then the second person was Hazel, and she had multiple injuries while in the program. She felt that the training regimen that they had her on was geared more towards male athletes and not so much towards female athletes. Both athletes felt that the lack of communication in the training program, and then also between that and the gearing the training program more towards male athletes. They both felt that that was a big factor in their overall experience. Both of them also talked about being depressed during those time periods as well, and they felt that depression because when they asked for longer periods of time to have more rest time, and then the coaches, they were in constant conflict with the coaches, which led to that as well, so it's too bad. In addition, the gender differences as well, just body composition, metabolism, strength, all of those things weren't taken into consideration when they started the program. So as you can see, the connection between the coach and the athlete is very important, and it also kind of contributes to the motivation as well, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about, is the motivation. And motivation is a force that prompts the individual to take action and that guides the behaviors. And that was from the set in Konak, 2017, the relationship between the motivation to succeed and the coach's communication levels among badminton players. And motivation was categorized into two different groups. One was being intrinsic, which is generated from the person, and the other one was extrinsic, and that's generating that motivation from someone else. And that can be either positive or negative. The type of motivation athletes possess will greatly influence their sport experience. And that was from Booning, Coach Expectations in Division I Softball Athletes, Perception of Coaching Behaviors, 2015. The feedback from the coaches just really generated the overall motivational drive of the players. The support, the merging indicated that athletes prefer positive training, more supportive environments, and democratic leadership styles. All that I have discussed, all of these factors, it basically contributes to the overall success of the athlete. In conclusion, I feel that through my findings you can see that effective communication is vital between the coach and the athlete. And I wanted to remind you of some of the key points that I mentioned earlier. Female athletes' motivation is greatly affected by the coach's ability to motivate its athletes and their communication skills. We reviewed some of the main points that I talked about earlier, the first one being the female communication, the second one being the case study that I mentioned in Norway, and then the last one is the overall motivation. When researching this topic, I really thought about myself as a former athlete, and then I also thought about my daughter as a future athlete, and it just made me think about how I hope for her anyway that her relationship with her coaches is going to be as effective as some of my experiences were. So thank you for your time.